Welcome to this introductory webinar for consultants. This walkthrough is aimed at providing you a better understanding of what's contained in an IBISWorld industry research report specific to your role. I'm Isaac Satin, Director of Customer Communications for IBISWorld. If you haven't already done so, I suggest you watch the general overview video, which goes through some best practices, search functionality, and general tips for the IBISWorld platform. In this video, we'll delve into the specifics of how to use the IBISWorld content for consulting professionals, helping you both from a business development perspective all the way through to providing deliverables for clients. Let's jump in, and today we'll be using the advertising agencies report for the walkthrough. Whenever we jump into an IBISWorld report, I always love to start off at the industry at a glance page. Just gives you a good idea of where exactly we are, some high-level data, details about the industry. For consultants specifically, I think this SWOT analysis is really helpful, immediately identifying some of the areas within the report that you may want to focus in on more, organized by SWOT features here. And then, of course, if we scroll down, I always like looking at these key trends for consultants. What's going on right now within the industry that you want to be aware of that are going to lead to some questions you may want to ask of your client that obviously can streamline into some different opportunities for projects and focus areas. We also always have this executive summary that I like to highlight that just in a few quick paragraphs gives you what's been going on in the last 5 years, what's happening right now, and what's projected to happen in the upcoming 5 years. Let's jump into our industry performance chapter. Now, right away, we're going to identify some key external drivers for you that are outside of the business's control that you want to be aware of. These are things that your client might be facing that they need to deal with that are presenting challenges to them, or on the other side, it might be opportunistic that you want to highlight for them that they could take advantage of. So always be aware of these key external drivers as you jump into the title here. The current performance, of course, is one of the areas that we're most frequently known for. You can see year by year a look at how the revenue is trended in the industry. We can overlay that with total number of businesses, employment, wage growth, and you can see these numbers year by year. You can also look at these numbers from an overall perspective on the entire market. So you can see just the pure value numbers as opposed to the percentage change year over year. So very helpful to look at those both ways. Any of our charts or graphs that you see within the IBISWorld platform, you can click this little download button and you can download it into your own work in a number of different ways. It's sourced to IBISWorld for you. So we encourage you to do that to enhance your own reports and charts and presentations, of course. Now, in addition to the charts and graphs, we're going to have the analysis behind it. We're going to give you a quick overview of why are these things taking place? How has the industry handled COVID? What kind of positive impacts have changed? What kind of technology change might have taken place? What kind of M&A opportunities or major events have gone on that have caused different things happening within the industry? We'll also give you the concrete numbers as well if you're looking to pull some of the data year over year industry change, as well as industry ratios, which we'll show a little bit later as well. Now, the next section, I think, is what IBISWorld might be best known for. It's our 5-year forecast, our proprietary forecasting methodology that we use for our industry outlook chapters. So you can actually take a look at what's going to happen in the upcoming years based on our analysis. So you'll see the revenue growth year by year, how it's expected to fluctuate, why that might be, why that's taking place, and of course, being able to go back to your client and asking them questions about this. Are they prepared for some of these changes? How are they potentially being a leader in their industry with some of these different changes is a great question to ask. And I like to highlight this industry lifecycle stage for consultants because we look at different industries as growth, mature, or decline. And that's based on where they are with the overall economy. So are they at a mature stage that they're growing at roughly the same rate as the economy? Are they in decline? As a consultant, it's going to be your job to help these growth companies go even faster, these decline industries to survive and do well with what they have for even longer, and obviously helping the mature industries in a number of different ways to continued success, continued brand awareness, recognition, things like that. Let's check out the products and markets chapter. I like to highlight here the supply chain, which for consultants is uniquely interesting in that you not only need to understand the industry that you're working with and the client's industry, but also the industries that are in their supply chain, meaning What are the industries that they're purchasing from? Who are the industries that they're selling to? Are there disruptions up and down the supply chain that could impact the client themselves? We've seen how crazy the last few years have been with supply chain disruptions, being able to get key inputs, being able to serve the downstream demand industries. And just being able to think about this, jump quickly into any of these other reports, which are very easy to do. These are all hyperlinks that you can jump into. These other titles here are available to you. So make sure to take a quick look at that. Product and service segmentation is a great place for consultants to go, where you can start to think about what are the opportunities in this space that maybe your client isn't taking advantage of. What's their product and service mix? Might there be an opportunity to delve into an area that they're not currently looking at or paying as much attention to? Or are they a specialist? Or are they a niche provider in this space? Being able to ask those questions. And of course, giving a little bit of an overview of these various products and services. This comes in handy as well if maybe this is an industry that you aren't really familiar with. Demand determinants. Why are people purchasing from this industry? Why are other businesses buying from this industry? It gives you a good breakdown of the essential reasons that they're doing business and revenue is coming their way. Major market segmentation I love, especially for consulting, because it gives you a breakdown of what are the different areas that this industry sells to. Are there ignored markets that maybe your client should be reaching out to, where they can put more of their energy, attention, and efforts? You can see advertising, this is an example, is highly segmented in different spaces. If you had a client, for example, that 60% of their market was technology, media, and telecommunication, it just lends itself easily to the question of why is that? It's something that you want to explore before you go any further. And of course, we'll always have that in-depth analysis behind it. We have a new geographic breakdown section that we've enhanced that allows you to look all across the country at where these actual businesses are located, which state features the fastest growing, the most establishments, highest revenue. So it allows some apples to apples comparison and even apples to oranges as you can jump from establishments, revenue, employment numbers. You can see that this heat map changes a little bit, and you can actually sort all 50 states or provinces, if you're in Canada or other countries, by all the different metrics that we have. And you can see there's a pretty big variability when you go from region to region here. We also feature a product called Industry State Reports, where we're going to give you for each of the states hundreds of titles in all the different industries. If you want to get more in depth, that looks at information on the county level. So definitely explore that if it's something of interest for you to go even deeper. It's a great product that really gives you the holistic picture. Let's jump into the competitive landscape chapter. I love this chapter because it starts to present some areas that raise questions about the industry. What is the overall market share? What are the size of the businesses in this space? Is your client looking to expand in terms of both geographic footprint, but also the number of employees they have? These key success factors. I think this is a major one to circle for yourself. We're going to highlight 5 to 6 areas that are key for businesses operating this industry that they need to do to be successful. And I often say for consultants, each of these can be their own individual engagement. This could be 6 different projects here of as you really narrow in and focus on it, what are their abilities to do these things? How good are they doing? Where can they actually scale? Where can they implement some systems and processes to get better? So always take a look at those key success factors. And of course, cost structure benchmarks. Being able to take a look at this of where the revenue is essentially going. We're looking at roughly a 5.7% profit margins in the advertising space. Maybe you're wanting to highlight that you can help them increase those profits by 1 or 2 percentage points. Where are you going to be helping them cut in other areas, whether it be marketing spend, rent, utilities, these other costs, which we'll actually highlight down below here as we scroll down. We can actually see where are some of these other costs coming into play. What is the breakdown? How has that been over a source of a time series? We can actually see all that. So you see here in the other costs, we can take a look at how much they're spending on various areas. So if you're doing more of financial consulting engagement of drilling into some of their expenses and spend, this is a great chapter to highlight here. I want to highlight the major companies section for you. We, of course, are going to have some of the largest players identified within the industry. We're going to give you a little bit of a sorting functionality here to take a look at, do they stand out? Are they a disruptor? Are they up and comer? or maybe they're a laggard that are falling behind. These are going to highlight some of the biggest companies in the space. We're going to give you an overview of the major brands and names within that company, and we also offer company profiles. So that's another additional collection that you can add on. Thousands of different companies looked at from an industry perspective. So a really interesting product to be able to compare and contrast how do the businesses that you're working with stack up to the different companies within their space. So I encourage you to take a closer look at that if company information is of interest. And you can see here all the different companies highlighted in our major companies section. Quickly going to touch on operating conditions for you, just to have an understanding of how the industry is kind of segmented out here and the lay of the land, I guess you can say, in terms of some really important features. You can see here we can collapse the menu: technology and systems, revenue volatility, regulation and policy, industry assistance, essentially you being able to look at any red flags that might be popping up in the industry. And I'm going to share with you in just a minute our risk ratings reports that actually give you a way to look at this on a numerical basis. So if you don't have the ability or the time to read through all of this and you're looking at the trends, we have a really great scoring system that I'm going to share with you that puts a number on some of the areas that as a consultant you should pay special attention to. Why don't we hop into that right now? I'm going to open up our risk ratings report on advertising agencies. Now, this is an additional collection that we offer, our risk ratings reports. They're available with each and every title in our collection. And what they're looking for is on a scale of 1 to 9, they're providing a risk score, 1 being the least risky, 9 being the most risky. And we take various components from the industry report and give you a cumulative score. So while we say the advertising agency's industry is a 4.94 on our risk score, so right in the middle there, you can see that the structural risk seems to trend a little bit higher at 5.29. We can go into our structural risk chapter and then see, why is that? What are the components from the report that are causing that higher score? And you can see here the barriers to entry being a 9. It's very low barriers to entry to create an advertising agency. So there's going to be a lot of competition. Level of assistance low. There might be not much help from the government side in terms of being in this industry. So I always like to point out these different things here, the sensitivity risk, providing a score on each of the key external drivers, just a way to numerically identify and highlight areas that might have some need around the business that you're working with. Anything that's a higher score, you're going to want to talk to the client about and see what kind of techniques they have in place or plan they have in place to counteract that. So let's go back to the full industry report right now. We can just click on this icon right here. And I want to share with you just a couple of more sections before we wrap up. Of course, the key statistics is a great way to look at overall the industry here of how they're operating. All of this is exportable to Excel. If you just simply click this button, it'll pop right out into Excel for you. And we do feature some industry financial ratios. Now, if that's part of your work, it's something that we've been asked over the years to include within our reports. We have over 40 different financial ratios included. If you ever see one that you're not familiar with, you can just simply click on the definition and it'll give you a complete breakdown of what that different ratio is. We also can size companies. So if you're looking for companies that are much larger or much smaller, you can actually do any of these various sizes here, which is a great tool. Now, speaking of sizing, we actually introduced our segment benchmarking information earlier this year in 2022. So this actually takes a look at businesses based on the number of employees that they have. So with the segment benchmarking tool, you can actually identify which industries have the lion's share of number of employees in certain buckets. So you can see 500 plus employee advertising agencies are the lion's share here, make up almost 50% of the industry. However, let's say you're working with a smaller firm, 10 to 19 employees, 20 to 99 employees, you can jump right into there. So let's jump down to this 20 to 99 employees. You could actually tell from the top that their revenue was projected to go down versus the biggest companies looking to go up. I'll go back up to the top here just to highlight that for you real quickly. You can see right here, increasing for the larger companies, but decreasing for the smaller companies, which is interesting. So back down to that 20 to 99 employees. Now we're looking specifically at the businesses in that range of employees. So average revenue of just under $2 million, a little bit of a different way to look at the company, the different SWOT analysis, performance benchmarking. You can go through all the various areas up here to highlight and understand your business in more detail. So this segment benchmarking, coupled with our company benchmarking, coupled with our industry state reports, really provides you that new way of looking at granular niche analysis that we've never offered before. So I absolutely encourage you to think about that if it could be something of interest. Now, the last thing that I want to share with you are our call preparation questions. This is important in the earlier stages when you're first looking to win this business engagement, when you sit down trying to understand this business a little bit more. We're going to offer you anywhere from 15 to 20 role-specific questions here that are all individually potential jumping off points for a consulting assignment, I think. So it's really great to look at this, ask your client about it, explore that area. You're bound to find areas that they're looking to improve upon that you may be able to assist with. And of course, all throughout the report gives you more information to narrow in and drill into that more and back it up with our graphs and charts, which again, you're welcome to use within the actual deliverables that you provide your client yourself. So really appreciate you taking the time today. That's our quick overview of you using IBISWorld for consulting. Please be sure to continue to explore the Help Center for further information on how IBISWorld can be best utilized for your role. You can see the Help Center icon right up here. And if you do have any questions on the additional products such as segment and company benchmarking, state reports, risk ratings reports, please don't hesitate to reach out so that we can assist. Thank you so much for your time today.